So I'm 25.
17.
39.
15.
20.
I'm 26.
Love is a perception.
Love is unlimited.
Everyone deserves love.
Without it, you'd just be very lonely and like sad and everything.
It is a normal thing for people above 60 to still have a healthy sex life.
I don't think you get older and you stop wanting those things as you age.
But I think it is way harder to find love when you're older.
It's a bit more difficult to have a crush.
When you're over 60.
My name is Maurice. I was born in London. I am 67 years old and I am a gymnastics coach. I think age doesn't stop me or stop anyone from finding love.
Hello, sir.
Hi, could I have a bunch of roses, please?
Of course you could, darling.
Red ones, please.
Red ones, yeah.
The reason why I bought roses is they're seen as a token of love, especially red roses.
Nowadays, not many young people bring flowers on the first date.
No,
I didn't bring you flowers on the first date.
Cash, if I may.
Okay.
Yeah, do it the traditional way.
Yes, why not?
I'm trying to go back to it. I've had enough of cards.
Yeah.
Looking forward to a date with someone you haven't met before. There's a slight excitement and wonder what the person will be like, as we haven't even spoken. Doing it through online dating and being in this type of scenario, totally new to me. I look forward to it. I approached it, I hope, in the right way, and I was open to everything to see how it would work out. Because you can't be hesitant, you've got to be open in any relationship. So I believe I approached it in a good frame of mind.
I'm Gail. I'm 61 years old and a retired police officer. I was nervous going on the date. I was a little concerned who the person that had been selected, the gentleman, might be, and whether we would get along okay, because in life you meet people for the first time and there is an instant, unfortunately, dislike because someone expresses views that are very contrary to your own.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello there.
Well, it's a nuisance, all this distancing business, isn't it? Because we can't even shake hands, so
We're not
I
meant to,
kind of do this
We can try.
to greet someone.
But pleased to meet you.
It's very nice to meet you. I'm
Gail. Yes, yeah. My name's Maurice.
Nice to meet you,
So
Maurice.
nice to meet you. I'm going to give you these now.
Oh, I haven't had flowers for a very long time.
I thought it should be done properly.
Lovely, thank you very
You're
much.
welcome, more than welcome.
Matching looks.
Yeah, matching looks. Yeah, very matching looks.
I think we broke the ice fairly quickly. Maurice presented me with a lovely bouquet of red roses, which is something I've not had for a very long time. And that's a very gentlemanly thing to do.
I asked the lady to pick them out especially for me.
All right, well,
She's
it's a
very
matter
helpful.
of trimming off the bottoms and
Yes.
I think you can put them in boiling water, can't you?
I've never done that. I've never.
Perk them up a bit.
Is it? Well, they're fresh, so you know.
Lovely.
Yeah, they should be okay.
So at least we're a bit lucky with the weather at the moment.
Yeah, I'm hoping it holds off. Yeah, I think we'll be safe.
Have you been here long?
Not really, no. Sort of just arrived.
Okay.
So yeah.
So have you got a car parked nearby? Did you come up on the train?
A sort of cab.
Okay, sort of cab. What's a
Well,
sort of
like
cab?
an Uber cab type of thing.
I've never done one of those.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
So you were in Liverpool. How long were you there?
Oh, well, I was only there for one day and one night.
Okay.
But to do a journey like that, I normally have a couple of overnight stops anyway.
I think if I was going to Liverpool, I'd probably like stop off at every lay-by on the way, like service station.
Yeah, I don't do the motorways if I can help it because it's much easier to become tired with just a straight road.
I occasionally travel and I usually allow an extra hour or so on the journey just to stop off at the service stations.
A journey like that I allow 3 days. Because I turn it into a little holiday as well.
Yeah.
So that means that I get to enjoy the places that I'm travelling through. When you're going such a long way, it's a waste otherwise.
I'm looking for a best friend, someone to share everything with, to have that honesty within a relationship, the caring bit, the comfort of being close to someone.
Oh, well, it'd be interesting to see how London has changed since the last time I was in there.
Yeah, I'd be happy when it's up and running with Big Ben. It's just,
Oh, do you know, I hadn't even noticed it was under scaffolding. How long has that been like that?
a few years now.
Has it?
I can't promise, but I think it's been under repair pre-COVID. So,
yeah, I suppose I've probably only been up to London, apart from today, once during COVID.
yeah.
And when you're driving, you tend not to look up, so I probably
That's
didn't notice.
something we all do. Lots of when you're walking, people don't look up, and I love to look up to see the architecture.
Yes, I like architecture.
So
as
you know.
Well, got this GoPro here. Let's see
Oh, have you got
if
one?
I can do it properly.
Like, I can imagine the
Older people using technology.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I've had very quick instruction. It's a flash thing from what I've seen of GoPros before.
Okay.
Right, let's. Okay, we're recording.
All right. Well, I'll let you record.
Hello,
it.
Lawrence. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I don't think we struggled for conversation. And as the date moved on, having gone in the London Eye, and we were able to talk about what we were seeing outside the capsule and all the lovely London views.
What do you do? What are your hobbies?
My hobbies, I try and learn Tai Chi,
Okay.
which is closed, and salsa dance,
All right.
which is also closed. But I do it online, but I
Yeah.
can't quite do it at home. It doesn't work. There's no point. I've got to be honest.
It's not the same as when you're in a class
No.
and you're kind of buoyed up with other people, aren't you?
Yeah, well, you have that enjoyment, but when you're just copying it on the TV, and then you get it slightly wrong, or it's like it doesn't work for me. The thing I've noticed is I miss people going to the community centre and things.
Maurice seemed perhaps even more nervous than I was to begin with. I'm quite a naturally chatty person and used to meeting people and strangers. He did express to me that because of all the lockdowns, he'd spent a great deal of time on his own lately, and so he was nervous to be even out in public.
But I'm also a photographer and I specialise in macro photography.
So you do macro photography?
I do macro photography and I specialise in insect photography. So I also I photograph certain insects for data purposes and upload it to national data collection sites, because the numbers of certain insects are an indicator.
I enjoyed Gail's company a lot. She's a very interesting lady. So the conversation went well. I was really impressed with it. When we were introduced to each other and the rest of it, it's very good. I say I didn't struggle to find subjects to discuss. So all of that went well, I believe.
What's your favourite ice cream then?
Oh, I find all of them, really. I don't know, what's my favourite? That's a difficult one.
I think I'd like a mango. So a mango,
One
yeah?
mango. Can I have a chocolate one?
Of course. What size would you like the mango?
Just whatever the smallest is
Any
lovely.
toppings on that?
Have you got some chocolate nibs? Chocolate nibs.
Chocolate nibs, dark chocolate nibs.
That's lovely, thank you.
I'm all about for you, sir.
Just a chocolate one would be fine.
More chocolate,
Yeah.
Do you think he'll pay?
Of course. It's first date.
Chocolate.
More chocolate.
There you go.
Both got free.
Yeah. Cheers.
There we
Thanks for
are.
your feet, mate. I'll come out.
Ice cream in the
Right, thank you.
rain. Very colourful ice cream van, isn't it?
Thank you.
There we are. Do you have any serviettes, please, darling?
Right.
You go careful.
Thank you.
Oh, looking forward to this.
I've been converted.
You like it?
Definitely, yes. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to shriek you. Delicious. I don't know if it's raining at the moment. We could always go and perch over on one of those walls, do you think?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah?
But it takes an awfully long time for a couple to grow into one another. And I don't think it is right to mould your partner into what you believe is your perfect ideal. Otherwise, each of you doesn't have a personality.
You're not vegetarian then?
No. I don't. I could be. It's not. I don't need to eat meat. And I went for, I think, about 9 months without eating any meat whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah. So it doesn't. If someone said, wanted me to give up eating meat, it's not a problem. I don't eat meat every day.
No.
So that's not a problem. Being vegan is I think different. You need to really think about like fitting into that.
I'm what's known now as a flexitarian, so I'll eat whatever I like.
Oh, okay.
Saying that, I love my veggies. I enjoy some vegan dishes, and particularly, bless you. Oh, thank you. And particularly, vegan people use other ingredients in their cake baking. And there's some fantastic recipes for things like chocolate brownies. That's totally vegan because they use bananas instead of the fat.
I'm looking for someone who has a great personality, an interesting personality, but also has their own interests and is happy to go off and do things without me and allow me to do so. But then there are things that we can both share together.
When you're older, I think you again have the experience. So when I was 20, I wasn't sure about dating. It's still the same. You still don't know what the other person is going to be like, but you have the experience of knowing how to read the person. I teach gymnastics. That means
that one out there, didn't you?
does that count as doing it? No, because I tell others
you must have done it.
I've done it.
Yeah, you
I have done it, but now I tell people what to do. I'm the coach for Cambridge University.
Are you?
So they were British champions for 2 years running.
Right.
And I'm also
Did any of your protégés become really successful?
yes.
Okay.
I teach children in London.
Yes.
One girl I got through to the Olympics when she was probably 14, but then the British team wouldn't take her. So she She's dual nationality, so she went and competed in the Olympics for Turkey, got a higher score than the British team. So I had to pass her up to the next coach. Watching the little girl who learns the cartwheel, that goes and tells mum she can do a cartwheel, I'm usually more proud than the little girl telling her mum. I think, yeah, she done it.
Maurice is a very interesting gentleman. He's done some rather surprising things in his life, having done gymnastics and being a quite important gymnastics instructor.
I've done other things. I've had a what you call a proper job,
right,
and that type of thing, but I've always gone back to gymnastics. So yeah.
So that was something I'd not experienced previously as far as meeting anyone involved in that kind of sport. Moving on to our date, we kind of got used to one another as far as conversation, and we'd already learnt quite a lot about one another's likes and dislikes. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
And very good health to you.
Thank you.
And I think since COVID began, this is probably about the third glass of wine I've drunk, so I'm going to enjoy it.
We all have different types of baggage. If I say emotional, you remember what happened in your last relationship that may have affected you.
So, relationships that I've had in the past, there have been trust issues. So my emotional baggage is, can I actually trust another man in the future not to go off and do things that I wouldn't want them to do, i.e. go off with other women in an intimate way.
You've got to be careful not to carry that onto the next relationship. So if the last person cheated on you, you can't blame the next person. They're going to do the same. You've got to open.
Do you remember we had things like Blue Nun, Black Tower?
Yes, I do remember Blue.
And they were all really fashionable at the time.
Yes, I remember.
Prawn Cocktail and Black Forest Ghetto.
Yeah, sorry, you are reminding me.
There was also a slightly sparkling wine, was it Frizzanti or something like that we used to feel we were being really posh. And then I had it a few years ago just to try, and it's disgusting.
Well, you know, it's like everything. You develop your own tastes.
Oh, it's true. Your taste changes as you go on.
Yeah. My view on sex is there's a big difference between having sex and making love. I think as we get older, the appetite gets less.
So, shall we say my sexual libido is much less than it was when I was, say, 8-10 years younger. But I would still want to be intimate with my partner.
I feel company is more important than sex.
As we get older, we tend not to have sex as much, but it seems to be better quality.
I think it's not so important when you're at that age about sex, but it definitely depends on the person.
Love plays a much more important role at this stage of my life. That for women, you wouldn't necessarily go and get a long-term career. It was still quite a priority to find a partner, get married and have a family. So I was in my first very long relationship. I got married when I was 21. When I got to about 29, 30, I questioned whether I should start a family, whether it was possible for us to start a family, and whether in fact I wanted children. As I said earlier, I think we've come through the best times.
Yeah.
For the reason that when we were younger, you appreciated so much everything that you had. But all these generations later, I don't think the youngsters of today on the whole appreciate what they've got or what their parents have done for them.
There is that sort of difference. I know when I sometimes I put on some music to listen to, and I think, I can start with, I can go way back, but I start with the other day I listened to the Four Tops, and I was laughing because I wanted to hear the Temptations as well, and the Four Tops came out, and because I'm looking at it right now, they're all wearing tuxedos. And then the Temptations came out, and I don't know what to call the jacket. It was just like a suit jacket, but longer, like a dress sort of jacket.
Yeah, there was a name for those, wasn't there?
I can't remember, but yeah. And
tonic coats.
A tonic, okay. Yeah.
Or even hillbilly coats.
All right, I've got no clue.
Yeah.
But and then I was looking at
Jerry Lee Lewis type thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I watched, what was his name? Buddy Holly. So you can jump. I can span from the 60s early. I grew up, well, my dad would have the radio on, so I'd listen to the music, whether I liked it or not. And then the pop culture hit in the 60s. So I grew up listening to music all the way through, and this is the generations now.
As we get to this stage in our life, people begin to get very ill and sometimes die. And I've lost several people who are close to me in age. And there is also a fear that someone you might end up with, say I ended up with someone now, suddenly became very ill and wasn't alive for very long. And I know it might sound morbid, but that is a reality at my stage in life. So this is also a consideration, which people in their 20s wouldn't even think about, don't have to think about, thankfully.
It was just, she's a nice lady, very interesting. We covered lots of subjects, but there wasn't that spark. And I don't know what makes that spark. I don't know what that chemistry is. I don't have a rule. So if I meet, I can't tell you I want to date this type of girl or that type of girl, but when I meet her, I'll feel the chemistry and then I'll know.
I think what I'm getting round to is that Maurice is a very nice gentleman, but he is not very close to what I would be looking for in my partner to be going forward. He is someone that I would happily meet for coffee if I was ever in his locality.
So unfortunately I couldn't find any chemistry on the date, but I did really enjoy it. It was a fantastic experience.
But I don't think we have very much in common as far as a relationship were to go in the future.
Look matching.
You think they look matching?
Yeah.
But personality was important to me. And I think when you're over 60, they probably don't care about looks anymore.
It's like you need to find a soulmate.
Yeah, like that.
But I think as long as you're happy in whatever stage, if that's still having an active sex and dating life.
But a lot of people can still be happy living on their own.